Hello, this is Alec Kerr, the film critic for the Conway Daily Sun with...
Amy-Nicole Smullen.
And today, we're a little bit late on this, but it doesn't really matter what we say anyway, because all the teen and tween girls will see it again, since it's already made $140 million in 3 days. The Twilight Saga, New Moon. I think we're getting really loose with the word saga here.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess they had to throw it in so that people who haven't read the books would still know they want to go see it and see Robert Pattinson. In
case they forgot that New Moon is part of Twilight. Why don't you start? Because...
Alright. Yeah. I've read all the books. I really enjoy all the books. That being said, I like the movies. I have some issues with some of the casting they did, which tends to always be my issue because it's never like they're never like they are in my head when they put them on screen. I know every single girl out there watching will hate this, but I don't like Robert Pattinson. They could have picked someone better.
Yes.
My big issue, I love the plot. I love the way they did a lot of the stuff in this movie. My biggest issue is still, and from the first one, that the Cullen family looks like vampires. They're supposed to fit into a high school. They're supposed to be beautiful and extraordinary, but still fit in. And just little things like they have the colored contacts that they all wear. They're not related, and they all have that same exact very odd color eyes, and nobody notices. You know, like little things like that.
You know, it feels like the contacts were more intense this time. They were a little bit more subtle last time, and this time it's like blazing yellow.
Yeah, I don't remember even noticing it in the last movie, really. Maybe like a quick scene with Edward or something, but
yeah,
it was very,
very noticeable this time.
Yeah. But I mean, overall, it was a good movie. I enjoyed it. I brought my husband. He enjoyed it. We're still fighting over Team Edward, Team Jacob, so...
And I saw the first one without having read the book and thought it was just absolutely laughable and just annoying. And my sister made me read Twilight, and I thought that Twilight, legitimately was a well-written book, and that it was well-paced, and that the screenwriter, and it's the same screenwriter, I think it's Melissa Rosenberg, totally missed what made Twilight good and focused too much on the whininess and the emo-ness.
Yeah.
This time around though, I think that she put the focus in the right place, because I think New Moon, the book, was far, far too whiny. And this is really saying something about New Moon, the movie, because it's a plenty whiny movie, but it's not nearly as whiny as books. That really says something about the book.
I think it had more of the tension between the characters, but without so much of the obnoxiousness.
Right, with, the staring at each other from afar for hours on end.
Yeah.
And so I think New Moon is an improvement over Twilight in terms of just getting it right.
Yeah. I mean, it's been a while since I've read the books, but I didn't, like a lot of other books turn movies, you always notice huge things that get left out.
Right.
Didn't really catch much of that in this one, which was exciting to me because as somebody who likes books, I hate when they do that.
I think part of the reason that it was easy to do that was because if you actually pull away all of Bella's whininess, there's not much plot there.
Yeah.
So it's very easy to get it all in because, you cut out 3 or 4 or 5, 6 chapters of her just sitting there moaning about her hole and how it feels like there's a hole in me, and now I have a second hole because Jacob's left me too. Yeah. They only had that reference to the whole metaphor twice in the movie, and I really liked that because there was like a dozen in the book, and by this 12th time it was mentioned in the book, I was like, okay, I get it.
Yeah, and I think they bypassed a lot of that by doing that shot where she's sitting in front of the window,
right?
And
which
they
I
just
thought was
show
really
the
beautiful
seasons
and well done.
changing.
Yeah.
And that was beautiful. And there were a couple of girls in the theater that kind of laughed at it, but they were the younger girls who I don't think really got what it was supposed to be showing.
Right.
It was a good way to show that she hadn't moved on without having her
right.
whine
And I believe the book was actually
time.
like that. I think it actually had several chapters that were just October, November, December, and that was all they were. So I thought that was a really nice way of getting that in the movie. And I did like Taylor Lautner until he went wolfy and started getting really emo-y.
Yeah.
Because he's such a likable, cool character, and the minute he becomes a werewolf, which we're not giving anything away by saying that,
It's a werewolf?
he just became like Bella and Edward, and always just so mopey and intense. And he's such a has such a great personality, and it's just totally lost once he becomes.
Yeah.
You know.
I definitely preferred him in the beginning with the
his
long hair and they're working out in the
telling
garage
jokes.
together.
And
Yeah.
my favorite moment of the movie is like when the double. I don't even. It was supposed. What was it? It wasn't like a double date, but
it was
like
supposed to be a group date, but everybody else
right.
ditched.
So it was Mike and Jacob and Bella, and like Mike and Jacob are just there. Bella's in the middle, and it's just such a nice little moment of what it's like to be a teenager. And I wish there were more moments like that instead of just the whininess.
It was definitely the quintessential awkward moment.
Right. I really like that whole sequence actually, because of the way Jacob was making fun of Mike. I mean, it just felt good, and it felt right, and it had the right tone. It wasn't so, because this movie is just so somber for most of it, and and it doesn't seem like, at least with Taylor Lautner, he has some personality, but with Edward and Bella, it just looks like they have no emotion other than just somberness and like staring at each other and feeling the weight of the world and the intensity of their love.
And I was really, really disappointed with the whole section where you have depressed Bella.
Yeah.
And she's laying in bed at night screaming.
Yeah.
And it seems so fake. Like she's just yelling for the sake of yelling.
Right.
She doesn't seem upset. She's not like in the middle of a nightmare tossing and turning. She's laying there screaming. And I'm like, first of all, doesn't sound realistic.
Right.
Second of all,
sounds like somebody was like ripping her apart.
And I mean, she's laying in bed and she's awake for this.
Right.
And all I can think is, I went through the depressed teenage years.
Right.
Your dad's in the other room? I don't think so. Because the last thing you want is your dad to come up into the bedroom and check on you and try and sit with you and make you feel better. Which he did do a good job of doing in a couple of scenes.
I really like the father.
He did a good job, I think.
And they also gave him a lot of funny lines that weren't actually in the book, and kind of just made him. Because in the book he's kind of just awkward and and a little gruff, and here he's awkward, but but they actually they made him nice and and I really loved, and this was like the reason because I wasn't exactly thrilled about going to see this movie, but the whole reason I was looking forward to seeing it was the Italy sequence, which I thought they did really well.
Yeah.
And seeing the Fratellis, the royalty of the vampire world.
Yeah, I don't know. I felt like it was a little bit more
rushed.
It was more epic in the book.
Right.
In the movie, it kind of went by really quickly, but what they did with it, I think they did really well.
Right. I mean, it was too rushed, but what they did, and Michael Sheen as Arrow was just he was the only person in the movie that was really, really acting.
Yeah.
And Dakota Fanning, it's worth noting.
I was so impressed with her because it's so out of character. Jane.
Right, it was Jane.
Jane, who can look at you and make you writhe in pain, and it's so not her. And I haven't seen a Dakota Fanning movie in a while.
Right.
Saw a lot of what she did when she was younger, and I still thought she was an amazing actress. But I sat there for a good 5 minutes going, is that Dakota Fanning?
Yeah, but those
Is it really?
With those really intense red eyes, it's just
But she did really well, and I mean, it was very brief, but
no, it was I wish there'd been more done with the Italy sequence, but I thought it was well done, and it made the movie watchable for me. And then there's the annoying cliffhanger ending.
Yeah, I
won't say what it is. I mean, everyone's already seen it. That's probably watching this video.
I just couldn't believe that's exactly where they ended it there. Yeah.
With Belle.
I mean, I like cliffhangers and all that, but there's a point where it looks like you just lost the last piece of tape.
Right.
I mean, it literally ended right in the middle.
And they're just churning it out, because the next one's already supposed to be due out in June, so it's they're just churning them out.
Which I love about this, because I like Harry Potter too. I'm not one of those people you have to like Twilight or Harry Potter.
Right.
But the Harry Potter movies take years to come out. By the time it comes out, nobody even remembers what happened in the last one.
Right. And I think they realize that they need to get these out fast, because people are going to lose interest very, very quickly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess that's it. I mean, I could go on about the things that bug me about the Twilight series.
Yeah.
But,
overall, good movie. For the 2 people out there that haven't seen it, go check it out.
Yeah. And as I said, I do think it's an improvement over Twilight. I don't know what Eclipse will be like, but we'll see. So this is Alec,
And Amy-Nicole.
and keep watching.